While the 2022-2023 football season officially ends today on Super Bowl Sunday, for many sports betting fans, college hoops in February and March is one of the most exciting times in sports. Whether you love college hoops or just want to pad your bankroll heading into March Madness, we have the perfect special. Starting today, get the rest of February with any WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for only $149 each. So to finish off February for as little as $9 per day, head over to your favorite WagerTalk and or Sports Memo handicappers page and grab this limited time offer. This offer includes not only college basketball, but also any NBA, NHL, UFC, soccer, golf, and NASCAR that your favorite WagerTalk and or Sports Memo expert handicaps. No coupon is needed. The earlier you sign up, the more days you get.
Hey guys, welcome in on a very happy Friday to you now here as we get ready to wrap up the month of February. Yep, hard to believe, just a week left here on this Friday the 24th. We still got plenty of NBA action to go here. Lots still to be decided before we get to the forever playoffs the association has. But we do have about 6 or 7 games here tonight on the card. We're going to break down a few, see if we can find a couple of edges, and we'll do it with 3 of our favorites here at WagerTalk.com. When it comes to the association, he is known as the prop god here. He's back in the saddle again. Andy Lang. Dwayne, never met anybody I didn't like to go completely opposite of. Bryant, very good to see you here, Dwayne. And, of course, 2 R's and 1 L. You know him as Mr. Steve Merrill in the house on this Friday. Gentlemen, welcome in here. And we did get a little NBA action back last night. Don't know if we learned a whole lot after the little vacation they had, but they are back at it here today. Andy, do you have anything that tickled your fancy might be up and available now at Wager Talk?
Yeah, we're on a really nice 5-0 run in the NBA. So we have our best bet that's up, looking to move to 6-0. NHL, it's that time of year where high volume starts to kick in for the player props. We're 4-1 last night. We're just doing really well all across the board, plus 46 units to start the year, turn a profit in all the golf tournaments. And, of course, auto racing starts getting hit hard and heavy. So everything's going great for me, really. Myself and clients have nothing to complain about.
Listen, we can always find something to play. Nobody give a shit, though. But it's good to see you're up and rolling there, Lang. Talk to us, Dwayne. We are ready for nothing but going opposite for you here on this show. Seems to be a staple of yours. Not that it's planned. It just is what it is. And that's what makes the show so much fun when you're on here. It's all about the information. The information you do have, did it lead you to any plays in the association tonight on your page at Wager Talk?
No, it didn't. It just goes against my handicapping style in the NBA. I'm very much a situational guy, and I usually, after the All-Star break, like to see each team play at least a game before I jump back in. So, I don't have anything on my page at Wager Talk right now. I was on a 10-3 NBA run prior to the All-Star break, so hopefully I'll be back in the action again tomorrow.
All right. Well, listen, guys, it is going to be a huge weekend, of course, on the hardwood, both NBA and college hoops. And Merrill, I know you've been digging around. There's got to be something here in the association tonight that you circled for us. What's going on at your page or Wager Talk?
Yeah, always very selective, quality versus quantity for all sports for me, and the NBA in particular. But I actually have 2 strong NBA best bets tonight on Friday. So I do really like this card tonight, and probably should pay attention because I'm number 1 ranked in 2023 in units 1 in the NBA at WagerTalk.com. Number 1 ranked NBA capper this year, and I've got 2 strong best bets going tonight in the NBA. It's a light college basketball card. Tony Mahia and I did a head-to-head show today, and we also dug into 3 top 25 games for Saturday. Now, also will have a deeper look at those games in my college basketball top 25 video later tonight on Friday into Saturday. But don't forget about the free plays. I've gone 17-5 on all free plays since the end of January, and I've got a free college basketball play on my page right now. Plus, you can get those 2 strong NBA best bets Friday night. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
All right, well, let's get at it here then, guys. Let's see what the contrarian gods have to offer us here tonight, as they have one game circled. It is the late game, in fact, and they're going to be heading out west for the Sacramento Kings, taking on the Clippers. Kings, it looks like now, up to 7 here is what I am seeing. Not a whole lot of craziness on the injury report. But they are taking on a rejuvenated Clippers team with a couple of new pieces there. The question is, I don't know, is the market overreacting here and too far in the corner of the Clippers? The contrarian gods think so. What do you think there, Andy Lang? Anybody you're looking at in this matchup?
Yeah, perfect spot for the contrarian gods to plant their flag on a team. You know, Clippers getting all the headlines with Westbrook. They were playing so great before the All-Star break. Yeah, absolutely. Give me the points with Sacramento. It looks like Sabonis is going to be playing tonight. They got De'Aaron Fox. I am concerned about Sabonis and his health. I think the injury is just really starting to really bother him. He's not protecting the rim hardly at all, so I don't think the Clippers are going to have too many problems scoring tonight, but De'Aaron Fox can do some damage. Sabonis is going up against Plumlee. That's a great matchup for Sabonis as well. I'm going to roll the dice tonight. You know, I don't blame anyone if they don't want to put money on this one. Fine. I'm going Russell Westbrook over 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Let's do it. They just put him right in the starting lineup. Like, we got to get this guy a bunch of minutes with Kawhi and Paul George so they can get in a rhythm. Kings are not good on defense. They give up a ton of points. They've given up 116 points or more in 7 straight games. Russell Westbrook's points, rebounds, and assist total is 26.5. Listen, if anybody's going to start for their new team and come out guns a-blazing and firing away and getting involved and stepping on the toes of the superstars, it's Russell Westbrook. So, yeah, I'll roll the dice. Give me Westbrook over his PRA tonight.
Yeah, that was, we would expect nothing less of you here tonight, Andy, than just to dive right in with good old Russ. Yes, very, very nice. Well done. Dwayne, how about you here tonight? Are you sold on this Clippers team laying 7 tonight, or maybe is it Sacramento and even worth looking at, in your opinion?
Well, you talk about the Clippers. They haven't played since before the All-Star break, so it's another case of rest versus rust. The Kings did play last night. They plowed through Portland at home by 17. The Kings shot 54% from the field in that game, which is a good sign coming off a 9-day break. Sacramento, 8 games above 500, and you'd think that giving a good team points would make for a good underdog bet, but that hasn't been the case, at least not this season, and especially in games. So far this season, home favorites laying points to a division rival with a winning record have gone 24-1, 73% ATS. And if they're laying more than 2 possessions like the Clippers are here, these teams are still 8-3, 73% ATS. But the Kings have fared pretty well in LA against the Clippers in recent seasons. They won straight up here back in December. That was when the Clippers were so shorthanded they had to use a cowboy guard. But Kings covered the first meeting this season too. I've gone back and forth on this, which leaves me with pretty much 2 thoughts. Number one, I'm a contrarian by nature, so when in doubt, take the contrarian side. And number 2, when in doubt, take the point. So I'll agree with the contrads here and plus.
All right, I think it was Contrarian Gods was an agreement there. Refresh that link if you could for us there, Dwayne. And Merrill, talk to us. How are you looking at this game here tonight? You with the Contrarian Gods?
Well, you know, Joe, I'm always looking for a reason to be contrarian, whether it's the NBA or the NFL with the fade the public. But what really got me interested in the Kings is when Andy Lang said Russell Westbrook is going to have a big game and be taking a lot of shots. Because if that is correct, and I think it very well might be, I want the underdog in this one. I do not think that's going to help the Clippers' cause to have Russell come from the other LA team and just all of a sudden become dominant shooting around. He's not a great shooter to start with. Let's keep in mind, when he was a dominant player with OKC back in the day and the other teams, he was fantastic at taking the ball to the hoop, very athletic, and just jump up and dunk over anybody, even not being all that tall. he's never been a great shooter, in my opinion. So now that he's aging, he's not going to be able to rely on his jump shot like LeBron and Michael did a little bit in their later years, or are doing as LeBron did. He broke that record with the fadeaway jump shot, let's not forget. So yeah, if Russell Westbrook is going to be active and he is in the starting lineup, that's what I'm seeing. I think that's a good reason to fade the Clippers. So I have no problem with the Kings getting the +7, 7.5.
Ooh, I like that way it all circles back there. Way to start it, Andy. Way to go, man. Total shit show. Thanks. All right, Sacramento Kings +7 is where we're looking here tonight with the Contrarian Gods. Let's take a look at a featured matchup here tonight. One that's going to include, well, they're still dead to me, the Miami Heat taking on the Milwaukee Bucks here tonight. Heading into Milwaukee, in fact. 221 is that total. We're seeing 4s now. That is what Milwaukee is laying at this one. And you would think teams coming out of the break would be a little healthier than what they were prior, but that obviously doesn't seem to be the case. As Pat Connaughton out, it looks like, for the Bucks. Giannis still listed as questionable with the wrist. Still some issues, injury issues, of course. And the big one is with Giannis and whether he goes or not. What do you think here, Andy, in this Miami Heat-Milwaukee matchup? Is there anybody in particular, you are focusing on here?
Yeah, with this game, it's just a wait and see. You just got to wait and see what is going to happen with Giannis. So I handicapped this game expecting Giannis not to play because he was doubtful earlier. Now he's up to questionable. So take this play with a grain of salt. Don't play it until you know that if Giannis is in or out. So if Giannis is out, I do really like Drew Holiday over his rebounds and assists. They played against Milwaukee a couple times in January, and Giannis did not play in those. Drew Holiday played great, and he had 13 and 17 rebounds and assists. Last game against Chicago, where Giannis, barely played, he got hurt early. He ended up with 15 rebounds and assists. So when Giannis is out, you see production, especially from the rebounds and assists, it really increases with Holiday. Miami gives up over 6 rebounds and over 8 assists per game to opposing point guards. I think that's the best way to attack Miami, is on the perimeter. So a couple things here. I would not play this at 13.5. I would only play it at 12.5. And if Giannis does play, then I would not play this. The other thing that was odd when Lopez was out, or when Giannis was out against Miami, Brook Lopez was a disaster. He did nothing. So you might think, oh, it's a great spot for Brook Lopez, but tread lightly on that one. He did not play well against Miami when Giannis was out. But just wait and see with this game before you put your bets in what the lineups will be.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's so true. Giannis certainly one to pick up the pace a little bit in games, and if he's not in, woo, it's going to be slow and go there. Dwayne, are you looking at the total in this one at all? What did you come up with?
Well, neither team has played a game since the All-Star break. That takes a lot away from my handicap. I'm a situational handicapper when it comes to the NBA, and a lot of the situational aspect pertains to a team's last game or last few games if there's a pattern. But when a team hasn't played for a week or so, I mean, those previous games don't mean anywhere near as much as they would if they were playing under normal rest. So I don't really have much to say about this game, but I'll say this. This has been a series dominated by the home team. I think the home team has won something like the last 9 regular season meetings going back 2 seasons or so. That's not a streak I'm willing to bet against. And speaking of streaks, Milwaukee's on a 12-game winning streak. So I'm sure as hell not betting against a 12-game winning streak in a game where I basically just have to pick the winner. Miami lost its last 2 games before the All-Star break, so it's not like they were rolling before the break. And I know that All-Star break can be a huge momentum killer, but I'm not bucking a 9-0 series trend and a 12-game winning streak. So I'll say lay the short number with the Bucks.
All right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, is the way Dwayne looks at it. Merrill, how about you? Are you sold that this long a break is good for a team on a 12-game winning streak, or do you think we're going to get high scoring? How do you approach this?
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, I don't think it's good for a team on a 12-game win streak. And I'm with Dwayne. Normally, I'm not looking to fade a team on a 12-game win streak in the NBA. Or on the other side of the coin, back a Miami Heat team that's 1-6 ATS, 2-8 ATS their last 10. But with that said, I think the All-Star break came at a really good time for Miami and a really bad time for Milwaukee. We don't talk about bye weeks in the NBA, but this is basically the bye week. Like the NFL gets a bye week, every team gets one. And what I've always said with the NFL when handicapping bye weeks is that it's kind of a momentum breaker, or it's a contrarian indicator. If a team has been really hot, they don't need the bye week. If a team is struggling, it serves them well. And that's an angle I've used a lot of the NFL, is like struggling bad teams, especially teams that haven't been performing well offensively, usually do come out with a better showing. I often look to play overs in the NFL for that example. But in this situation, I don't think Milwaukee needed the break. Maybe getting Giannis healthy, they needed it. But once again, they were on a 12-game win streak, even with him banged up. He was one of the captains at the All-Star break. He didn't play up, but, obviously a lot of distractions there. So if he plays tonight, I don't think it's necessarily a good thing. He's not going to be 100%. I'm not so sure he's back in the groove of things. And the line move on this game is making it look like he's going to play. As Andy said, he's been gone from doubtful to questionable. But about 45 minutes ago, about 3:30, 3:45 Eastern Friday afternoon, this line went from 1.5 up to 4.5. And the total went from 219 up to 221. So that's pretty much priced in like he's more than questionable, in my opinion. So if you like Miami, I think it's an excellent opportunity to take a good number now with Giannis pretty much priced in. If he ends up not playing, it's going to drop back down to 1 or 2, which was the number overnight and this morning. And I know normally without a superstar, teams step up, but I think this time it's different, especially with Milwaukee being off for a full week. So I think Miami bounces back tonight. I think it's a good spot to back the Heat with or without Giannis.
All right, good stuff there. Should be an interesting one, but again, keep an eye on that injury report just in case here, guys. And we'll focus on a total tonight in a matchup that's going to feature the Charlotte Hornets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. 240 as the open. It hasn't done a whole lot, but still hovering around that 240, 241 mark here. We know Charlotte ain't going to play no defense. Minnesota at home. Are we confident, Andy, this is simply an over or pass, or is there anybody in particular we should be looking at in this matchup?
Kind of interesting. Tomorrow, the Heat and the Hornets play each other, both coming off of back-to-backs. I'll be interested to see how motivated Charlotte is to play the Timberwolves and then the Heat 2 games back-to-back. You might look at LaMelo Ball over 9.5 assists. He went over this total 4 straight games going into the All-Star break. And if this game is a shootout, there's going to be plenty made baskets. LaMelo Ball should get over his assists. I got to tell you, I like this play, not just tonight, but moving forward throughout the rest of the season. Mike Conley, under 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's gone under 2 out of the 3 games he's been with the Timberwolves. He's had 13, 24, and 8 PRA. The game he went over his points, rebounds, and assists, he was 3 of 6 from 3-pointers. The other 2 games, he was a combined 1 for 7 from threes. He doesn't get a lot of rebounds. Obviously, there's Gobert and others. Anthony Edwards is going to be doing most of the scoring from the perimeter. So as long as this PRA total stays above 20, I think Mike Conley in an under is a really good bet. A lot of points could be tonight, but I just don't think he's the run and gun type of player that will be lighting up the scoreboard. So give me Conley under his PRA tonight.
All right, Conley under the PRA there for Andy. Dwayne, how about you? These totals in the 240s. Oh, boy. What do you think of this one? Is it still an over or not for you, though?
No, I mean, this is the highest total on the board, and I love playing under the highest total on the NBA board every day. I mean, if you had done that every day this season where there were at least 5 games on the slate, you'd have cashed somewhere around 60% winners. And these games with totals in the 240s have been money under bets. The SDQL database shows that games this season with the total of 240 or higher have gone 30-17, 64% to the under. We also have an awesome league-wide situational angle in play here that says to play under when the total is greater than or equal to 230 after the team has covered 2 of its last 3 games and they're well-rested, playing no more than their 3rd game in the last 10 days. Charlotte's the qualifying team that puts this angle into play. And if you go back 2+ seasons, this league-wide situational angle has gone 26-4, 87% to the under, and that includes 5-0 this season. So I definitely take a good look at the under in this one.
All right, under. Good look there. And what do you think, Merrill? We talk about it all the time here. He's got a point. Looking towards the under. Not bad, especially first game, right back here. Second game back after a long layoff. Are you expecting high scoring in this one?
Yeah, I think the long layoff, there should be more defense. I think Dwayne brought up a lot of good points there about the database also. And Ralph Michaels, speaking of database, got to mention Ralph Michaels, the stat daddy database king. And we talked about this a few weeks ago on the show. For years now, we've always said that the highest totals go over, and they're high for a reason. They can't set them high enough. But as Ralph and I discussed, things have changed because, as Dwayne just pointed out, there's been 40 plus games with this price range in the 240s this season. There'd only been like 5 ever in years past. So this is the new norm now. So a 240 isn't an astronomical total anymore. And I think you have to be very careful now. And as Dwayne also said, 60% just blindly playing the under on these highest totals shows that the odds makers have properly priced these games this season. If you are going to play the over in this game, I think a better aspect, a better angle to play isn't necessarily the game total, but Minnesota over the team total. Right now it's 123.5. Charlotte is 117. I've got a lot more confidence of Minnesota at home, rested against, as you said, a really bad Charlotte defense. Now, Minnesota's not a great defense, but they've played some tough opponents this year. In fact, if you look, they give up 47% on the season, but their opponents average 47.3. They faced some of the best offensive opponents of any NBA team this year. Charlotte, that's not the case. Charlotte's given up 48% on the year. Their opponent's 47.5. And the other problem with Charlotte is that they only average 45.5% shooting against teams that allow 47.5. So I do think Minnesota holds the matchup edge defensively. So if you are going to play the over, forget about the game itself. Play the T-Wolves over 123.5 as a team total.
All right, there you go. Not a bad way to look at it here tonight, guys. Minnesota taking on Charlotte. And we do have quite a number of dogs here that are intriguing tonight. Let's take a look at what we got here, Robert.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
All right, let's take a look at what we got here tonight. We've got New York, Cleveland, Miami, Charlotte there, OKC in a dog spot, Houston, one of the bigger dogs here tonight, Brooklyn and Sacramento. So some intriguing dogs here, Andy. Is there anyone in particular you think is worth taking a stab at?
Yeah, I'll take the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, who are the Chicago Bulls to be laying points here? It's a team that lost 6 in a row going into the All-Star break. One of them was to Brooklyn. They lost that one 116-105. It's just been a nightmare season for Chicago. I'm not really sure if they have any upside or any motivation. I'm sure those guys are going to try and play hard, but you've got the Lonzo Ball issue. He's done for the season. And, Brooklyn Nets, they got a lot of guys who are looking to prove something. They're going to want to try and fight for minutes. I think they may have a lot more motivation than Chicago, actually. So I think Brooklyn outright is a fine bet. It's only 2 points. Just take the money line. But no way am I laying points on Chicago.
All right, not believing in Chicago, value in Brooklyn for Andy. Dwayne, how about you? Which one of these dogs might be barking tonight?
Give me Charlotte plus the 6.5 here for the show. And it's more of a bet against Minnesota than it is a play on Charlotte. I usually need several solid reasons to lay points with any team, and I'm just not seeing it with the Timberwolves here. Minnesota's just 2-4 straight up, 1-5 ATS as a non-conference home favorite this season. The average line was Minnesota minus 5.3, and they lost outright by 5 points a game. And in the 2 games where they had to lay more than 2 possessions like they do tonight, they were not only 0-2 ATS, but they were 0-2 straight up, despite being an average 8-point favorite. Yeah, the Wolves have revenge for a loss in Charlotte back in November, but I don't really factor in non-conference games with revenge, especially when the previous meeting was that long ago. And when Minnesota was a home favorite seeking revenge against another non-conference opponent, they lost outright to the Wizards last week. Charlotte has owned this series of late, despite the average line being Minnesota minus 1.5. Charlotte's actually gone 5-1 straight up and 5-0-1 ATS the last 6 in this series. So I'll take the Charlotte Hornets as my dog for this show at +6.5.
All right, boom, getting it done with Charlotte tonight. Merrill, how about you? Which one of these dogs is barking for you tonight?
And by the way, if you don't think that the injury reports dictate these line moves, I just see the WagerTalk live odds screen light up at 4:30 Eastern exact on our producer Robert's Houston Rockets at Golden State Warriors, and that's because Golden State had nobody listed on the injury report at 3:30 Eastern, and they just put everybody on there now. Curry's still out, Wiggins still out, Draymond questionable, and all of a sudden Golden State goes from 10.5 to 9.5. Total drops a couple points as well. I'm not going to back the Rockets, so I think there's a better "that's my dog" candidate on the board, though, and that's the first game tonight at 7 Eastern. Whenever I can get the better team at an underdog price, it catches my eye, and that's the New York Knicks at Washington. Now, they opened +2.5. Knicks are now down to +1.5, even +1 in some spots. So they might not be a dog technically by tip-off, but they are right now for the sake of this show. I think it's the better team, and I think it's a focus spot also. I use revenge a ton, obviously, in college basketball this time of the year. We use it a little bit in the NBA, but it works better when the better team has revenge, and that's the Knicks here. They just lost a month ago in mid-January as a 5-point home favorite. And I remember that game because the Wizards shot lights out that night, 38% from three, 84% from the free throw line. The Knicks just 27% from beyond the arc, just 66.5% from the free throw line. That's why they lost that game as a home favorite. I like the bounce back spot here. The better team getting a point or so. New York Knicks +1.5 at 7 Eastern.
All right, there you go. New York Knicks getting a vote tonight. Still, Mitchell Robinson, it looks like, listed as questionable. We'll see if the Knicks can get some defense back in that lineup here tonight. But get ready, 7 o'clock Eastern time for that tip. When you put it all together now in these 8 games, it's time to figure out what the best bets are. Here's how we do it. We throw 60 seconds on the clock, and these guys free to do whatever they want with it. Just make sure to give us a best bet here tonight, Andy. You know how it rolls, man. 60 seconds. Tell us where you're looking for a best bet tonight.
Well, we're going for 6-0 in WagerTalk Best Bets. That's up now at WagerTalk.com. Got a 5% UFC play that is up. NHL props are up. We're doing really well in those. I talked about Nick Claxton under his points, rebounds, and assists on WagerTalk today. I think that's a solid play. You can go check that one, that show out that was re-recorded earlier today for that play. But for today's show, I'm going Devin Booker over 25.5 points. Who's going to score up for this team tonight? So you got Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Josh Okogie, Torrey Craig, and DeAndre Ayton as a starting lineup. This screams green light for Devin Booker to fire away. So I kind of like Chris Paul over his assist, but just not really sure who's going to be getting all the points here. I mean, Booker is by far the best shot creator on this team, especially with this starting lineup. Ayton needs help getting the ball. I think Booker should flourish tonight. Look for him to have a ton of shot attempts and to go over 25.5 tonight.
All right. Booker, it is here tonight for us. And Dwayne, we got 60 seconds on the clock here. Is there any one of these games you like a little more than the rest tonight?
Yeah, my best bet for the show is going to be the New York Knicks. Their last game before the All-Star break was a 21-point win in Atlanta. This season, the Knicks are 3-0 straight up in ATS on the road off a win by 15 or more points. If you go back to last season, New York is 8-0 ATS in this spot. In fact, they're 13-0 ATS in this spot if you go back to March 15th of 21. But this is New York's first game since the All-Star break, so the long layoff tampers my enthusiasm a bit, but it's still hard to ignore a situational angle that's 13-0. It's also a non-division conference road game for the Knicks with a spread close to a pick'em. And they're 3-0 straight up at ATS this season in non-division conference road games where the line is between the threes. They won by an average of 10 points per game. Washington's 1-3 straight up in ATS in non-division conference home games against teams with a winning record this season. So give me the Knicks plus the 1.5.
All right. Knicks plus the points here tonight. Looking to get it done, get one in the win column as they sit, I believe, in that number 6 position here in the race for the playoffs in the NBA. What about you, Merrill? You gave us Knicks for the dog here tonight for you. You got a best bet on this card?
We have 2 strong NBA best bets tonight for my clients at WagerTalk.com. I'm going to look at a bonus free play here for the show, a game that was just a bit outside from making the cut. By the way, I do have a college basketball free play on my page, and those free plays daily on my page have gone 17-5 going back to the end of January. A couple pushes, I think 17-5 2 to be exact. But once again, free plays have been smoking. Get a free college play and 2 strong NBA best bets. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. Game that just missed the cut tonight. We talked about it on the show earlier. And whenever I hear Russell Westbrook is going to be with a new team and taking a lot of shots in the starting lineup, that gets me looking the other way. So I think the Kings are a live dog tonight, plus the 7 to 7.5. And I also like the fact that Sacramento played a game last night, whereas LA's been off for over a week, having to work a new guy into the lineup, somewhat of a ball hog into the lineup. And Sacramento was in excellent current form with 133 points last night. I think they carried that momentum into LA tonight. Take a look at the Sacramento Kings. Let's fade Russell Westbrook with his new team. Sacramento plus the 7.5. Strong best bet. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Love it. Screw you, Russ. All right. God, wow. What is it with dudes named Russ trying to get coaches fired? Like, I don't know what's going on here. Let's check it out one more time here as we've got it going on with Andy Lang up at the top. His dog tonight going to be that Brooklyn Nets team. Who the hell are the Bulls to be laying against anybody? His best bet, though, Devin Booker, over 25.5 points tonight for the Suns, while Dwayne, he likes Charlotte, plus 6.5 for his dog. The Knicks is where he's looking, though, for that best bet, getting points against the Wizards. Merrill, New York, his dog, but Sacramento plus 7.5 against the Clippers tonight is where he is looking. That also happens to be in agreement with the contrarian gods, who also took the Sacramento Kings here tonight, guys. And best bets, not just tonight, but of course all weekend long, over at WagerTalk.com. All you have to do is head on over, visit Andy Lang's page, visit Dwayne Bryant's page, as well as Steve Merrill, and you guys will have a full weekend of opportunities to cash some tickets here, whether it be in college hoops, the NBA, a lot going on, a little UFC this week, all sorts of opportunities. Cash a few tickets with these three. Just visit them now over at WagerTalk.com. All right, NBA is back, which means we'll be back, of course, on Monday, doing it all over again on behalf of Andy, Dwayne, and Steve. Guys, we appreciate the time. Best of luck with all the plays here tonight and this weekend. Come back and join us on Monday. We'll do it again. Good luck. We'll see you then.
While the 2022-2023 football season officially ends today on Super Bowl Sunday, for many sports betting fans, college hoops in February and March is one of the most exciting times in sports. Whether you love college hoops or just want to pad your bankroll heading into March Madness, we have the perfect special. Starting today, get the rest of February with any WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for only $149 each. So to finish off February for as little as $9 per day, head over to your favorite WagerTalk and or Sports Memo handicappers page and grab this limited time offer. This offer includes not only college basketball, but also any NBA, NHL, UFC, soccer, golf, and NASCAR that your favorite WagerTalk and or Sports Memo expert handicaps. No coupon is needed. The earlier you sign up, the more days you get.